One sketch, one creative mind, and you have a black magic sketch in action. This month we had a sketch that looks like this, and we had to use the colour scheme that was down below, and all starting on a black background. Hi everybody, it's Kathy here, and I'm playing along with Black Magic Sketches, and that is the sketch that we're using for November, and there's still time for you to be creative as well. So I am cutting off my branding strip here on the Craft cardstock, which is always present, and I need to remember to do because it does make a difference. I'm going to use my cracked pistachio distress spray here, and I am going to add some splatters around the background, as you saw in the sketch that were on the border for this layout. I've used the cracked pistachio, which is the green color of the color scheme, and I'm also going to use some vintage photo, which brings out the brown from the color scheme. So that's the criteria for Black Magic sketches. You start with black cardstock and then use the colors that are provided as your mood board. So I'm using some Scrapbook Fantasies paper here, and it is from Fantasyland, and this one here is from Scrapbook Coach, and I really just love the colors in it, and it marries beautifully with the color scheme that is from this sketch for this month. Now I am manipulating the papers around just a little bit so I can maximize the color schemes and utilize those beautiful patterns within. I do have a piece of that greeny brick, which I'm going to use to break it up, and then I'm also contemplating another darker color to break up the lighter colors, and so I'll go with the wood grain here that you can see that I've got left. Alright, now that I have my strips ready, I can start placing them down onto there for my photo. Now my photo is not a landscape, it's a portrait, so it goes to show that on a sketch it is just a hint of what you can do with your layout. You are following it, yes, but you are okay to adapt it and change it to suit your needs. So I'm going to cut these strips into 9s and 9 1/2s, and I'm going to then play with the length of them and the placement of them so that they have a staggered look on this background square, which is 10.5 by 10.5 by, I think I did it 10.25, so it doesn't exactly have a full square, it's just a just off rectangle. Now this beautiful paper range from Scrapbook Fantasies has these great creatures in it, and because I wanted to give it a fairyland type of appeal for this photo, I thought these were perfect for my embellishments. Now I'm just fussy cutting here, and you can see how quickly that comes out of that piece of paper. So I have the owl, which I'm putting to the top, and I have the little tree stump down at the bottom with the owl in it. So I'm going to distress the edges of each of my strips, as you can see here, and this does take time. It is a process of placement, and that's very important when you're working on your layouts, that you work that out prior to sticking them down. So you saw me do that prior to this, and I'm repeating the action again as I am distressing the edges, and I just want to get each of them distressed to add that little bit of extra texture to the layout, because sketches, as I said, are just a guide for you to follow. They're not necessarily a full scrap lift unless you want to, but what I like about the sketches is that it allows your creativity to come through at a level that you want it to be. So I've got all of those ready. I'm just taping them as I go because I'm going to place them onto the layout so that they fall into the pattern as per the sketch. Now mine will be slightly larger in length here, and that's because my photo is longer. As I said, I'm using a portrait photo, not a landscape photo, and I'm using a very large photo. I didn't use a 6x4, I've gone with a 5x7. We were at Lura Gardens in the beginning of spring this year, and we went up to have a look at all the gardens they have on display there. I dragged my children along and their partners, so thank you to them for coming. I know they don't always enjoy what I like them to do, but it's a time out and we had a good time anyway. and the views were fantastic. So I just have added this photo that we took in one of the gardens where they had a hanging mirror, and if you stood at the right angle it just looked like that you were hanging in the garden, just in space. So as you can see here, and I just love this photo, it's just beautiful. And so I'm tucking in this frame. I want to build up a cluster point, which you saw on the sketch is down to the bottom left, and then at the top it had the title, so I'm going to have another cluster point there with the title. I'm just playing with the bits and pieces from this Fantasyland collection and also from Nature's Way, and I'm just popping in pieces here to create a fairy tale effect. I'm going to have those leaves falling down there on that right hand side. I'm going to tuck in some stars because I want it to have that magical feel. Now Scrapbook Fantasies have these great pieces called chippies, and they are just environmentally safe, and they're created by Scrapbook Fantasies. And then instead of using foam tape, we use the chippies, and it gives a solid base for your photo if you want to pop it up without it sagging. So that's the best part of it. I always added double adhesive because I don't want it to come off in the future, and then I am just going to put it onto the photo, onto the page, so that I can then build my embellishments around it. Now that I've done that and the background is dry, I have put tape around the edge of the black background so that I can place it onto this black cardstock. You can see I'm having terrible time with the tape here. It is so hot that everything is really super gummy, and it just wants to not give up its treasures. So I've placed it over to the right like the sketch, and you can just see how this is coming together so spectacularly. Now, you know me, I can't stand the edges being raw, so I'm using a green metallic pen here that's picking up the green from the color scheme, and I'm just going to edge it all around the outline of the cardstock, and that's going to give it a finishing touch to the whole layout. Now I like to add in that finishing touch. I know there are people who will just leave the edges raw, and that's fine as well. It all comes down to personal touch, but I just feel that by adding that thin line with the metallic green, it just picks up the sparkle on the splatters, and it just finishes the whole layout for me. So that's pretty much it. It's really a very simple layout. There is the stars and the magic and the owl and the little creature in the tree stump down below. I have the book open to tell their own story. I've put in that it is spring 2025, and there you go. That's a wrap for this great black magic sketches. Check them out on Facebook. This is the November one. There is still time for you to create using the November. You can always go back to the albums and create the other ones, and stay tuned for December when we have a Christmassy theme. Of course we do. So I want you to come and check it out, and I hope to see some of you creating. If you do, post it into the Facebook group, which I'll have all the details down below, and you have a chance of winning a random act of kindness from Donna, our leader. So here you go. This is it, up and close. I hope I've done something here to earn that thumbs up. If you're watching on a mobile device, don't forget to hit hype, and I'll see you very soon over in my next video. Stay creative, friends. Here it is for you.